Good day. Hello, my name is Bruce Rain from Raggers Creations, and thank you for joining me for this live stream today. Look at me, I'm a little bit off centre. What's all that about? Other way, this way. There we go. That's nicer. Not symmetrical. Thank you for joining me for this live stream today. It is a very, very wet day here in Sydney. It's pretty awful, actually. I may end up putting the air conditioner on just to dry it out a bit because it's very moist here at the moment. As usual, I would like to say a big hello to everyone who is joining today. So hello to Patrick Pitts. Congratulations on being first today. Steve from Mac84, Jay from the House of Moth, Paul Biley, 8WT, Charlie Gellar, Jared Burma, Mr. Tech Gadget, SadMac356, Apples Anonymous, and Richie B, 0.5. I think I got them all. Yep. Feel free to jump on and say hello at any stage. And of course, don't forget to press that thing. We call it a like button. At the end of the day, it's just a thumbs up. So, I mean, is it technically a like button? I mean, you know that the gesture in the from the gladiatorial days in Rome, where they talk about the whoever the what do you call them, the Caesar or whatever, getting up and making a gesture and doing that or that. It is only ever written that it was a gesture. We have no idea what the gesture was, but Hollywood has turned it into thumbs up or thumbs down for whether the gladiator gets to live or not. But we will never know unless we get a time machine, or unless we uncover some documentation or something that goes into more details. Like my t-shirt, thank you very much. So this was a gift from my wife. She bought this for me, which is very nice of her. I'm not sure if, when I'm wearing this, people actually get the link with the thing. I sort of feel like, because this is whoever has made this has not wanted to pay Apple any royalties. So the logo is barely visible. The rainbow is not in the shape of an apple. And of course we have our little buddy here. Now, of course, there's no writing on the front, so that means it's either a 128K or a 512K or a 512KE. Or it's been upgraded to a Mac Plus. So I didn't live stream last week. I instead, during the time that I would have been live streaming, actually, what did I end up doing? We were going to do something and then it changed. But anyhow, last week I did record an episode of Startup Disk is Full. I don't know if Jay in the chat or Steve in the chat have the capability of actually dropping a little link to that little video we recorded. I don't know if anyone here has seen it. Startup Disk is Full is a little podcast chat type thing that I do on the side, mainly with Jay and Dana, but we had Steve join us for this one as well. And it was a really fun episode to record because it's about tech fails. And we love talking about tech fails because, there's so much fun in hindsight when you see these things where someone thinks it's going to be the latest and greatest, and then it turns out to be. Dana is here. Hello there. And then what else? So we got to talk about things like the Humane AI pin. I don't know if anyone is aware of that, but that's that's one of the sort of biggest tech fails, I think. And I guess probably one of the reasons why it is a tech fail is because they raised like $240 million to make this product that, as Steve so aptly put it in the show, it was a solution looking for a problem. Here's a tech fail for you. It's a reefer cap. That is definitely a tech fail. So anyhow, we had a lot of fun recording it. It's nearly 2 hours long, but it is broken up into chapters. So if you're sort of feeling like, my goodness, I can't possibly do this in one go, no one's blaming you. But you can even just go in and watch the tech file, the individual ones that we talk about. And there is going to have to be a part 2 because we missed an awful lot. We missed talking about Theranos, which of course is a classic tech file, relatively recent tech file. And we missed talking about the Dyson Zone. So we need to definitely talk about that one as well. But I mean, it's very easy when you're just there chatting for those things to just go on and on and on, because we're all just laughing and making each other laugh and that sort of stuff. In my last live stream, I worked on a little laptop, and and I replaced the trackpad, and I replaced the screen, and it's quite a functional laptop now. I'm trying to get rid of a lot of these laptops, and I've managed to get rid of 2 so far, but I've still got like about, I don't know, 10 to go. I'm sending one to Charlie. He's getting a 13-inch MacBook Pro that's been upgraded to 16 gigs of RAM and has a 250 gig SSD in it. So it's quite a usable machine. Just came back from China, so missed your last live stream. I didn't do a live stream last week, and I may not have even done the week before that. Yeah. So, but if you missed the one with the laptop, yeah. So that was a funny one because it was essentially, I was just going to replace a cracked screen, but the black rubber bit around the outside got so badly damaged that I decided that I probably wouldn't stick a new glass onto that. I would try and get hold of another one. I haven't even gone to try and remove that rubber yet, but yeah. But yeah, I managed to put together quite a lot of working ones. I've got some not working ones. I had someone said, I will take all of the not working laptops away from you. And I was, sweet, that's great. And then he hasn't got back to me. I said, they're all yours, mate. Mr. Crimster, hello there. Okay. Now, I'll just have a quick little chat about what I'm going to be doing today. This is something... so, essentially, I got contacted by K-Cobra. I don't know if people know K-Cobra. He has his Kero's Mac Mods online store, and there's also, of course, the Satanic Mac Club. And he contacted me and he said, I've got this thing. I'm going to send one to you. And I'm going to send it to a kit because I know how much you like building kits. And I'm like, sweet, thank you. Chaser FPV, hello there. And yeah, so yep. And so they arrived in the mail, and here they are. There are 2 things here. I don't know how many of you people out there are Apple II or 2E2C aficionados. I am very much a Mac person, but I did also, I was a very big Apple IIe type person. So the Apple IIe was probably one of the first Apples I used was probably an Apple II Euro Plus, or maybe an Apple II Plus, something like that. And then we got an Apple IIe at home. It was like our home computer. Before that, we'd had one of those little 1980s micros. It was it's called a VZ200, and then we got a VZ300, and that was it's essentially a laser 200, laser 300 computer. Very, very cheap 80s micro, but it was enough to get that sense of a computer being part of our lives, the computers being used for things in the house. Leo is here, hello there. Carthor, hello there. So yeah, we sort of, my parents were teachers, and because I was an enthusiast, I was really into coding. That was really one of the main things that I did with computers, as I was writing my own software. And we called it programming back then, not coding. Yeah, so I once it was kind of proven that computers were going to be a part of our lives, the parents then spent a bit more money, and they ended up getting an Apple IIe. We got one with the Duo drive and the green screen with the rotatey sort of the screen actually goes up and down inside. And then at a later date, we got a hard drive for it as well. Great big bulky thing it was. It was called a Digicard. That's right, was the brand name. Bought that second hand from someone. So anyhow, that was a very, very big part of my life. And then, of course, then moved in. I already had a fascination with Macs at that stage, but they were just outside of the price range. And then we ended up getting a Macintosh at home. We got a Macintosh Classic because that was one of the first computers that was affordable enough for our family. So anyhow, the Apple IIe has a very, very big part in my life. As I said, I used to do a lot of programming and stuff on it, and playing games. I have very little recollection of what games I actually played, but I know I played a few. There was one where it was like Montezuma's Revenge or something like that. I quite liked that. And there was another one, and I liked playing Ghostbusters. And Karateka. So these are some of the ones. Retro Techie, hello there. So yeah, and so I had a real definite passion for these. So anyhow, when these turned, and I have an Apple IIe. So this was it was donated to the channel by Rudy's Retro Intel. It was very nice of him. I need to get a different power supply for it because the power supply I have is a 110 volt, and it's the very very early type, which was not easily changeable into a 230 or 240 volt. The later ones, the later power supplies, you could open them up and you could twiddle a few little wires around and you could change it from a 110 to a 230 volt. But this is an early power supply and you can't. Now, I will probably end up just buying a power supply, you know, like a. I'm sure people in the Apple II community will be able to say, hey, just grab this one and plop it inside the box. And that's what I'll probably end up doing, just getting a smaller power supply, you know, fixing up all the wires and that sort of stuff. So that's my plan. Then I'll have that all going. I've got a lovely, beautiful color screen that I picked up with a bunch of stuff, and it's actually sold as a 2C color screen, but of course it doesn't differentiate. It works beautifully on a 2E as well. So that was a really nice one. Beautiful CRT display. Once again, totally out of the price range of my family. So I've got an Apple IIc. I've got the little, what do you call it, the ET screen, the green ET screen. A lot of people, when they get those screens, they end up swapping them around with a Mac so that they can have a green Mac screen. I'm not sure if I'm going to bother doing that, but yeah. Anyone see Curious Mark's video on running Microsoft's BASIC on the Altair? No, I didn't, but that was one of the first things that Microsoft made for the Altair, was it not? It was their very, very scaled down Microsoft BASIC. That was kind of the start of the business. And I love the old Altair. And I actually love like the IMSI as well. There's the IMSI 8080. I would love to get one of those because they've got the big flippy switches rather than the little metal ones. Love them. Sort of, they make it look like one of those old 1970s keyboards that you have in the house, you know, with the big flippy switches. So anyhow, that's the backstory with the Apple II. You know, I've got a 2E, I've got a 2C, and we've got these two devices here. Now, some of this stuff, they use language about things that I have absolutely no idea about because I have been out of the Apple II game for a very long time. Now, this one here, I believe, is fairly straightforward. So this is SP, stands for Smart Port to SD. There you go. Smart Port to SD. So this will allow you to put in like SD cards and junk and connect a cable to it, and you'll be able to load up disk images and stuff like that. Now, here's where I'm a little bit fuzzy. What the hell is a smart port? Now, this here is a thing called a Grappler Minus. There was a Grappler Plus as well, but this is a thing called a Grappler Minus. Now, what this does is apparently add smart port functionality to a standard floppy disk controller for a 2E. Now, I don't believe I need this. Well, I know I don't need this for the 2C because the 2C doesn't have a slot in it, so I can't put it in there. So it's my understanding that the 2C probably already has smart port capability. Rudy, I was just talking about you. I was talking about your very generous gift of an Apple IIe to my Breakers YouTube channel. And you hopefully will be able to answer some of my questions about what the hell is a smart port. So when I see this SP to SD, I see it just connected to an Apple IIc. So I'm imagining that the 2C is just has smart port capability. I guess it's a type of port. And then this one allows you to get smart port capability from a standard Apple IIe. So that's where we are. I'm going to probably build this one first, the Grappler Minus. And from the perspective of what I'll be doing here, I'm just going to be chatting away. I'm going to be building, soldering stuff I love doing. And we'll just make some silly conversation while we do it. We can talk about dumb movies like Snow White. I haven't seen Snow White, by the way. It might be brilliant, but I'm just not expecting it to be good. Not sure if I'll ever decide to watch it either. Smart Port allowed you to hook a hard drive to the floppy port. So this is now behaving like a hard drive. I getcha. So, is that capability already built into the 2C? So in other words, can I just plug this straight into the 2C, or do I have to do something funky to the 2C, or is that something that's only available in the 2C Plus or something? I don't know, because there was a fancy 2C, wasn't there? Okay, 2C depends what the ROM version is. Oh, I'll have to find that out. I've actually got two 2Cs, and one of them works and the other one doesn't. But having said that, I can always steal the ROM from the not working one, because it's not the ROM that's the problem on the not working one. Should just plug in. Okay, we'll give it a try. But anyhow, I'm going to start off with this Grappler Minus. I'm going to change cameras here so you guys can see it. There we go. So here is my instructions. Kero's MacMod's Grappler Minus. So this card can be installed anywhere in an empty expansion slot. For Apple IIe, avoid installing in 3. What was 3 used for? PR-3. I can remember 3 being used for something. I remember we had an 80 column card. Was that in 3? I can't remember. Yeah. God, this is all going back a long way. Disk 2 is always installed in 6. Therefore, the Grappler Minus would be installed in the other expansion slot. So I think he uses an example here of having it in 4. So I would probably put it in 4 because of that. Slot 3 is for video. Okay, there you go. And then, look at that. We've got a QR code. Okay, excellent. Fantastic. So, let's just have, we've got here location parts number, U1, U2. Okay, all good. And then here are all the bits. Love it. Love kits. Anyone else here love kits? I love kits. Love just pulling out the bits and stuff. And it's a purple one. How cool is that? This side faces the PSU. PC designed by Kero. K is one of the true legends of the sort of vintage collector computer groups and that. So we've got a little C7 going here. That looks like it's a surface mountie. We've got a ROM there and a couple of ICs. I'll probably put all these guys on first. Little capacitors. Is it C7? Hang on, where? There's no C7 listed here, so I guess it's not important. Either that, it's meant to be there, and I need to do it. That's always possible, because Kay knows that I'm quite capable of doing surface mount soldering, so there might be something I'm supposed to stick at C7. We'll see. Okay. All right. So what have we got here? We've got a whole bunch of capacitors. These are 100 nanofarad. Oh, I'm going to need glasses for that. Right. Oh, it's raining again. Oh no, it's raining again. 104, that's 10 and 40, so that's 5 zeros. So that's what, 10,000 picofarads. So that's be what? That'd be 100 nanofarad, I guess. Does that sound right? 10 and 4 zeros, that's 100,000 picofarads. So that's 100 nanofarad. Yeah, okay, cool. So 104, 1, 2, that's 471, that's 47, 470 picofarad, so there's that. Oh, wow. That is really hard to read, but it's going to be whatever the other ones are, I guess. So we'll just put that there. That's another 104. You can always measure these if in doubt. So 104, there's 4 of them. I can't read that for the life of me. Oh, it's meant to be 101. Okay, that's fine. That all makes sense. Quicksilver Oz, hello there. So just to recap for anyone who has just joined in, I am working on a thing called a Grappler Minus. As I understand it, there was a thing called a Grappler Plus, and it did lots of stuff, and people weren't particularly interested in all the stuff it did. So he then made a thing called the Grappler Minus, which doesn't do all the other stuff that the Grappler Plus does, but it does give the smart port capability, and that was the main advantage of the thing. So this one here is a 470 picofarad. Now it is a ceramic capacitor, which means it is not polarized, so we can just put this in any way we want. So that's C5. C5. I've got to be careful of C4. It's just there. I don't want it to blow up. Did you get it? Did you get it? C4? Oh my goodness. Who knew I was so funny? Alright, I might actually just do this with the scope because I think I can. Printer port thingamaboob. Something like that. Scop. There we go. Look at those little legs akimbo. Oh, I need to turn my soldering iron on. It works better when it's on. Let's wait for my screen to come back on. At our age, everything is hard to read. Yep. Yep, C4 dad joke. More coming this way. You just stay tuned. We've got plenty more dad jokes to come. I spent a little bit of time with some people last night with some of the worst dad jokes I've ever heard. And it was family as well, so yeah. Alright, so we've got some Hoyt in a soldering iron. I'm just going to... I generally do one side, and then what I do is I kind of melt it and just push down from the other side to make sure it's as flush as I can possibly get it. And then do the other side. That's just how I do it, man. It's how I roll. I made a thing yesterday, just letting everyone know that. I have a camera that points down on this table, as you know. But it's not the best camera, unfortunately. It's an oldie. It's 1080p, but it is an oldie, and it's not the best camera. And I end up doing a lot of my product review videos using that, because I'll have a look at the thing that I'm reviewing, and I'll go, oh, look at this, all the things it does, wickety whack. And I want to be able to use my better camera, but it's much, much bigger than this one. It does not fit on the bracket that I've got up there. So what I did is I built a mount for my camera that I can attach to a pole. So now I have like two upright stands, and then I have a pole that goes across the top, and then I can attach this thing onto the pole, attach my camera to it so I can film down, and I can raise it up and lower it and everything, so I can set it however I want, so that I can then do some... Would you shush? There's a chicken at the door. Yeah, so I will yeah, I will be able to set that up and then do my dismantling things and stuff like that, and do my review stuff. I have to do it in the living room, unfortunately. It's the only place where there's room for it, which of course makes life a little bit difficult for anyone who's wanting to, like if you want to watch TV, it's like, no, you can't watch TV. Okay, so we've got two 100 picofarad, that's these ones here. They're 101, and that's 100N. 100p, there's a 100p there at C8. Yep, 100 picofarad C8, and a 100 picofarad at C6. Now, one of the things with this, one of the downsides with this, is I'm not going to be able to test this on this live stream, because there is no way I can set up an Apple IIe at this desk. Just no way. But we might be able to test the other one, the actual smart port Who's a Fudge thing. Ouch. I could go up and potentially get my 2C, which I believe is accessible. See what's going on with this C7. Hey? I have to have a look at some pictures and see if there's anything on that. I'll have to have a look at my message from Kay as well, because he messaged me and told me it's coming. Now, of course, Kay is not actually watching this at the moment. He will probably watch it later on because he usually contacts me after he's watched like streams of my stuff. So I have to make sure I don't do anything wrong, because if I do something wrong, he'll be watching it and he won't be able to do anything about it. He'll be there going, no, what are you doing? And it'll already be done. No test, yeah, no. Well, yeah. Yeah. It is a shame, man. The 2E is just such a big, bulky computer. I mean, I literally do not have space on the desk for it here. And then, of course, if you want to attach a screen to it, sheesh. I mean, I think my little screen here that I use, the little test one that I use, I think this one might have analog input, but I need a special cable for that. God, this is getting sticky. This screen has some sort of plastic coating on it, and as it's deteriorating, it's going sticky, a bit like the old puck mice. You know, if anyone remembers the old puck mice that were sold with the IMAX and stuff like that. Those horrible, horrible puck mice. Why is this out of focus? I wonder if there's condensation on the... It's so moist here, there might be some condensation on the lens. But anyhow, well, there we go. So, text bad words being spoken about the puck, yes. We have this running gag with Jay. Jay was a big fan of the puck mouse, and of course I have some good things to say about it, but ultimately I consider it a very, very poor piece of Apple design, because they made it round, and that was just dumb. You know, a mouse should be this sort of shape, because you can just put your hand on it, you know exactly what your orientation is. But you'd have the puck mouse, and, you know, I don't know, someone could bump it or something like that. Now your mouse is that way, and then you just go put your hand down and you start moving it, and the thing's going all over the place. There was no way of getting an idea of the orientation of the mouse with feel alone. You had to look at it and see, oh, there's the button, that's the front. Now, Apple resolved that later on by putting a little indentation in the button after they were getting so many complaints about it. That was a huge difference. A very, very small thing made a huge difference, that you could grab the mouse and you could feel the little lump on the button, so you knew which way around you were. But what we used to do at the place that I used to work, we used to take the little plastic clips off the side. So the way it was a round mouse, and it had these two coloured plastic clips on the side, and we should just take them off, and then that way you could just put your hand down and you could just feel the little gap from where the plastic was supposed to be, and know exactly what the orientation was. And the fact that they actually added the little button to the little indentation to the button means they were getting complaints about it. So you have to accept that a lot of people complained about those mices to pieces. I'll send you an A2 DVI so you can plug your Apple IIe into any monitor. That sounds like a very, very generous deal. I'll send you the PCB and components since you like building SMD stuff. Yeah, that sounds wonderful. I would love that. That would be absolutely excellent. Yes. I mean that most sincerely. It's one of the kind of, I guess, the frustrating things with, you know, sort of those old, you know, computers that they weren't like VGA type things, you know, or indeed now with digital DVI or HDMI. Okay, let's do some soldering. That's what we're here for, the solder. So now I just want to remind people, although I don't really need flux for through hole, because there's flux in the solder, but just a reminder that when I do use a flux, the flux that I use is Styri. And the reason why I use their flux is because, well, number one, it's excellent flux, but the other is this is a company that continues to innovate. They are constantly revising and improving their flux formulas. They're like, okay, well, this one's a good flux, but you know what? One of the problems with this one is it has some nasty chemicals in it. So let's see if we can revise this to not have the nasty chemicals and still be a good quality flux. And so they're doing that, and they do experiments, and they try different formulas until they find ones that are spot on. They have a particular flux which is designed for doing BGA work, ball grid array. Now, it's not designed for reballing a BGA. It's unsuitable for that, but it's a flux that has sort of a bit of a... It's fairly viscous when it's heated up, and what that does is that helps hold the BGA chip in place while the solder's melting and everything like that. So they've done a really good job of saying, okay, well, how can we make these, you know, these different tasks easier with us changing the flux formula? So yeah, good stuff. I'm struggling a little bit with my video production schedule at the moment. The main reason for that is that the main video that I'm working on at the moment is massive. It's a huge undertaking, and it is just taking me a really long time. In the meantime, I'm going to try and sneak out a couple of smaller vids. I would have loved to have done something for Marcintosh, but March is nearly finished, and I've got no idea what I would do. Hello, welcome to Marcintosh. Marcintosh. Indentation was known internally as Project Dumbass. XK Steve, hello there. This can do as a thank you for all your help your videos have been to me. Well, thank you very much for that, Mr. Tech Agent. I really appreciate that. All right, so we've got all of the capacitors on here. So I'm just going to stop here. Now, the reason why I've figured out why the focus is going a bit wonky, and that's because every time I bring the microscope in front, it focuses to the top of that, and then we have to wait for it to refocus to what's here. Right, so I've got a bunch of sockets here. So that, it's always good to have sockets when you're dealing with these dip chips, because it means if you need to undo them, you can. You know, if you solder on a dip chip the wrong way around, it's a real nightmare. But if you solder on a socket the wrong way around, you can just say, stuff it. Just leave it on there. Just make sure you put the chip on the right way around. Off to bed now, UK time. Well, thank you for popping in and saying hello. I appreciate that it's very late. There is a sort of, one of the things that does happen here is that obviously we have the whole daylight savings thing. So we are still in daylight savings here. And it's my understanding a lot of the places in the northern hemisphere have gone daylight savings as well. So I think the UK has gone daylight savings and the US has gone daylight savings. And so for that reason, it means that I'm now an hour out. So at the moment it is midday, and that a couple of weeks ago, midday would have been 8 p.m. Eastern time in the US, but now it's 9 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, when we come out of daylight savings, it's an extra hour. So if I'm live streaming at midday, it'll end up being 10 p.m. Eastern. And that's just something we go through year after year. Can't be helped. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it, huh? Okay. Let's get these sockets. I just managed to bend a pin. Several pins on that one, so that was a good job. Good job. Oh, I've managed to pull the pin out of this one. What are you going to do? These are these budget sockets. These are the ones that I buy as well. They're not particularly expensive, but they're a little bit on the flimsy side. But once you get them soldered in, they're fine. They're fine. There we go. That one's not too bad. All right, so we're going to make sure we get the orientation right. We've got a little indentation here. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Is the flux you forced me to buy a nice smelling one or odorless? It is an odorless one. If you were to cast your mind back, Jay, until the olden days of your laptop repair, it is effectively the same one that you used to use. Now, you had a different brand name on it, and you had a different product label on it, but it is essentially the same formula. So what you used to use was a thing called Amtech V2, but as my video expose showed, it was apparent that that Amtech or Inventec were actually putting ASM formula into a V2 tube. So that's what we used to buy. That's what we used to use when we're doing all the laptop repairs and whatnot. But this is the ASM. Now they have this ASM UHF as well, which is not as toxic. It doesn't have something in it. There's something that's been taken out of it, so it's a bit better for you. It is a little bit more expensive than the ASM. That's the flip side. And I'm not sure that this one's on Amazon at the moment. And you, of course, did specifically ask me about buying one from Amazon. So I think that's the issue. But the other thing is, of course, you have fume extraction, you have ultrasonic cleaner, you are well equipped for dealing with, a flux like this. I'll use the ASM flux here, and I've got a fume extractor, and when it comes to washing it off, some wash off easier, but I've got an ultrasonic cleaner. I don't have to worry about washing it off. Joe, hello there. I feel like I haven't seen you in ages, Joe. Thank you for joining. Didn't do any research yet. That's fair enough. I gave you the link to the stuff I use, Jay. So I wouldn't have recommended it if it wasn't what I was using. And as I say, the other thing with it is it's very, very, very well priced. It is our most modestly priced receptacle. Who knows the movie? Anyone? I'd be very disappointed if at least someone, if no one knew that one. Okay, so this is what I do when I'm dealing with like multi-pin things. I don't like bending pins when I put them in, so what I do is I hold them down with one hand. I got a little bit of solder next to one of the pins, and I just go like that, and I just melt it onto one of the pins while I'm pushing down on it. And then I do the same on the opposite corner, and do that. And then that's now enough. That's enough so that it'll stay in place, and I'll just have to sit there and solder the other pins. Watching this on my dad's old MacBook Pro mid-2010. 2010, yeah, okay, mid-2010. So that'd be a Core 2 Duo? Would that be right, or is it an i5? Yes, 0.5, you're correct, Lebowski, indeed. Bruce is very abusive off camera, folks. If I do not buy one he recommends, he screams at me. Oh dear. If anyone gets a chance to watch the Startup Disc his full episode, which, someone can put a link in there, you can see that. You can see that my colleagues bully me during that show. They bully me senseless. We have a lot of fun recording that. We actually did a live stream a long time ago on someone else's YouTube channel. So this is some years ago. And there were, it was me and Jay, and then Dana wasn't on camera. He was there just audio only. And Mike from it's Mike's Mess now, isn't it? It used to be Mike's Mac something. Mike's Mac Shack, something like that. And we did a live stream on his channel, and then Mike got tired and he went to bed. So we just kept streaming on his channel. And boy, oh boy, I was sitting there drinking wine. I was just getting drunker and drunker as we went. And did some silliness ensue in that one, I tell you. And that was part of the inspiration for us to go in and do this tech chat. Oh dear. The MacBook Pro has the notorious discrete GPU failure. That certainly does. It's what size? That was only in the 15s and the 17s. Core i7, that's nice. So yeah, the GPU issues only may predominantly in the 2011 15s and 17s. Was it 2012 as well? I can't remember. The 2010s weren't too bad. I've got a 2010 17-inch MacBook Pro, and the GPU is still sweet on that. But all the 15s from 2011. I've got a 2010 17-inch, and that's an i7, but that's a dual core i7. And I've upgraded that one. I've got that one, I think. I've got it at 8 gigs of RAM, but I think you can take them to 16, even though it doesn't say that officially. But I'll have to try that out. and I've got a 1 terabyte SSD in that, and that's a cool Mac. That's one that I will never be giving away or selling. I'll be keeping that as a collector's item because the 17s were the 17-inch MacBook Pros, you know, that they were only available from what 2010 to 2012 or something like that. And of course the 2011s were plagued with issues. Jay will remember which ones were all bad because he wrote a lot of stuff on them. But I love using the 17-inch because it's such a big screen. Now, I totally appreciate that the laptop that I use now, which is a 2018 15-inch touch bar, I appreciate that there's way more resolution on that screen. But there's something about that 17 with the great big screen. It's just the actually physically large screen in front of you. They're wonderful. K-Mac, hello there. Busy working on LC475 and Color Classic. That is some good fun stuff. I've actually got ones here that I need to work on, but almost all of the 575 Color Classics that I have here, they're all bloody diagnostic stuff. They're all boring, sitting there, pinging things with a multimeter and boring. So I don't live stream that stuff because it's just not fair for anyone watching. Because I spend a lot of time sitting there going, I could try this, and it's just not entertaining to watch. So that's why I do things like this, where I'm doing things that I could chat while I'm doing. Yeah. And of course, there's going to be some reward from this as well. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I mean, I hope my 2C has the correct ROM so that I can use the smart port to SD on that, because I mean, I've got a floppy EMU, but I have that typically configured for the Mac, and you've got to change the configuration if you want to use it with a Apple IIe, but I like the idea of just having a device that I can just use with it all the time. Hopefully. All right, so this one goes here. I'm just making sure I got these around the right way. Yes. Oh, that's upside down. Glad I got that right. There we go. These little indentations are kind of hard to see. Back in a moment. Okay, we'll just kill time until you get back. It's all good. .575 gives me a chime and sad Mac right after. Yeah, okay. Well, the 575's got some onboard RAM. I have had 575s where it's been a bad RAM chip. And I've had to go through and swap them over one at a time. Boom, way down. And then that's fixed the problem. So I have definitely had that with a 575. I'm not saying that that's what it is with yours, but I'm just letting you know I have definitely had a failed RAM chip on a 575. They're both from Australia. There you go. Yeah, see, I don't do that stuff anymore. I love doing that stuff, but I don't have the time to be able to do that stuff in a timely fashion for customers, unfortunately. I mean, as it is at the moment, I've got a few people wanting to send me things, and I've sort of said, look, yes, I can get you to, that's okay for you to send it to me, but you can't send it to me now because I still have stuff that I've got to get back to their owners, that I can't be going in and taking new stuff without getting some of the old stuff out the door. I've got one which is a huge problem, huge pain in my butt at the moment. I've got to get that one sorted. I've got to finish up this bloody 2FX board, get that back. Then I've got another 2FX board that I've got to diagnose and get that back. I've got a few color classics that I need to check, but I can't check those at the moment because my power supply, my chassis doesn't work. So, chaotic. I'm telling you, people, chaotic. What are you gonna do? We'll get there. Life's a little bit chaotic at the moment. I will say that. Ow. Sorry. I just discovered how conductive heat is. What's up with the 2018 Mac Mini and its Thunderbolt ports? One tiny jiggle on the desk where it sits an external disc eject. I'm not sure. I do not have a 2018 Mac Mini. I go straight from a 20, I think the 2014 is probably the most recent one I have. And then the next one I have is 2020. So I couldn't tell you about the 2018, no. The 2FX that I've got, it all works and everything. It's just missing a few bits I've got to add on there. And I'll get them done. It's not that much more work to do. I'll probably only need an hour to finish it. I could just take the stuff off the old board and put it onto the new board. It's got all its RAM slots and all its new bus slots now. It just needs PDS slot, a couple of connectors, floppy drive connectors, that sort of crap. Where I can get the female connector for the motherboard on Color Classic. Female connector for the motherboard on the Color Classic. Color Classic. You talking about the long connector that the whole board slides into? I think the only thing you can do is get hold of old, busted, original ones, you know, and steal them. You either steal them from a 575 or steal them from a Color Classic. One of the advantages you have, I think, with there was a 520 as well, I think. But one of the advantages of the 575 is the chassis on those is so brittle that sometimes people end up with those cases and they're just an absolute mess. And so with those, you can kind of raid the connectors from those. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, someone might know, but to my knowledge, I have never seen anyone buy like a new one of those. They've only ever been rated from actual Macs. So I'm just not sure. But I really want to build a testing system and get that connector, but I've just never had an opportunity. But it is my understanding that I am, I think, Charlie, you were going to send me one, weren't you? I think Charlie had actually said he was going to send me a Color Classic. I have to send him his lapbox first. Dave's here. Hello there, Dave. I'm going really slowly here. I better move along. We'll never get this done. Good grief. Okay, so I'm just going to solder a few pins here. These are just the sockets that I was putting in before, and I just held them in place with 2 blobs of solder, and so now I'm going to do the rest. Do you think I should use a fume extractor? What do you guys think? How important is my health? Let's use a fume extractor. This is the fume extractor I use. You can see a review of it if you want on my channel. It is a Vevor, and I have been really happy with it. I was given it for free in order to do the review, but I'll be honest, having now done the review and knowing how good it is, I would have bought one with my own money because it has been brilliant. Keeping my lungs nice and clean. Tommy Thomas, hello there. What is that CC connector called? That I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. We can make some names up if you like. When you're looking at this through the microscope, it may actually look like this smoke is kind of going upwards. And it sort of does go upwards, but then it just goes sharp sideways into the fume extractor. You know, I really wasn't paying much attention when I put the last one of these on. I hope I put it around the right way. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, few. Few, I says. Do we want to say hello to the chickens very quickly? Let's say hello to the chickens. Hello. Oh, they're nowhere there. You can't see any of them. Can't see any of them anywhere. Oh, there's one. Just to the far left. You may or may not be able to see it. That's the blind one in the coop on the left. But there's one here. I can hear it. Hello, chicken. It's hanging out in my shed at the moment because it's raining outside. So it's here getting some cover from the rain because they don't like being in rain. Hello. Would you like some treats? Seeing as you're here, I could give you some treats. There you go. Yep, he's quite content with that. She is quite content with that. Certainly when I call them a he, I mean, they're all she's. All of them. Grant, hello there. How hot is your iron? My iron is... I should always preface this. Eric's here. Hello, Eric. I run my iron at a very high temperature, a lot higher than people recommend, and it has to do with the way that I solder. I tend to solder very fast. I sort of get in and get out really, really quickly, and I like the high heat for that. So I have mine sitting on around about the 430 to 450 C mark. This says 450, but it's not. It's not 450. That's what the setting is on there, but it's not actually that hot. And so that's the way I like to solder, but it's not necessarily what I would recommend for everyone. I know there are some people that, they cranked it up hot, and the next, they're just melting bits of plastic left, right, and centre. So, you have to experiment a little bit and find out what works for you. But I do think that sometimes people recommend a temperature a little bit low. When people say, oh, you should be using around about, 350 or something like that. And I watch people soldering with that, and I just sort of think, you're having to hold that iron there for so long in order to get things hot. If you crank that up a little bit higher, you'd probably be able to work a lot faster. So, CDI, hello there. Solder a cheese sandwich. I don't know. How would you do that? Could, I suppose. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got some chips. Now, we don't have a socket for the actual main Romulus here. I don't know why that is the case. I might have a socket that fits it. I'll have a look, because we like sockets. Or maybe it'll make it too big if it's socketed. No, I wouldn't imagine so. So this is a ceramic chip. Soft SP DIY ROM V6A. There you go. I'll just have a quick look and see if I do have some sockets, because if I do, I will use them. Bingo bango. Perfectamundo. So, let's have a look here. I've got my thaw kit. So I can use the thaw kit. The pins are a bit bended. What does CDI stand for? CDI, you have to enlighten us all. There we go, and goes the socket. Now, interestingly enough, this ROM is smaller than the socket, but it actually says here, you can see that it's got there's one size and one another size. So we just have to make sure that we put it in with the pins far across to the left there, but that's okay. So it's similar to the ROMs in, which computer is it? Is it Classic or Classic 2 or something like that? One of them has a ROM, I think it's the Classic, has a socket bigger than the ROM, and people sometimes end up putting them in the wrong pins. And if you do end up putting them in the wrong pins, it's amazing how warm that ROM gets. Ow. Just burned myself. Did it with the iron. I don't usually burn myself with the iron. I usually burn myself with things that have been made hot by the iron, but I actually did it with the iron that time. Gotta mix it up. Ow! Color Classic and the Classic have that. There you go. Asbestos fingers, yeah. I burn my fingers all the time. Okay, where are we? Scope. I'm planning to get a foot switch so I can foot switch the camera. I ordered one, it didn't arrive, it got lost in the mail, never arrived, got my money back. Don't know where it is, curious. But after doing that, I decided that I wanted to get a specific brand of one rather than just the generic one that I got. I want to get one made by, I can't remember what they're called. They make nice video type stuff, adapters and things. Yeah, but I just haven't got around to doing that yet. But I really would like to be able to just foot switch between cameras. Nice and quick and easy. I should also get myself some sort of panel, you know, little custom panel running via like a Arduino or a Raspberry Pi or something. And I can then connect that. I've seen people do that. They make their own little custom buttons, custom panels for switching between things. One more piece of shit on the desk though. Mark Anning, hello there. It's afternoon here. That ROM thing need to offset it by 1. Yeah, so anyhow, I think we're all good to go with this. I'm going to start putting these chips in. I'll make sure I get the right ones in the right place though, by reading the instructions. So we'll start off with this guy. So there we go. And this one needs to go here like that. I think we're in. Looking good. What's a sim rig? I don't know what a sim rig is. In Queensland. Oh, of course you guys haven't got the fadey curtains daylight savings. We'll be finished daylight savings here soon. I think I don't know, it's April, or beginning of April or something like that. End of March, I'm not sure. It's not far away. I mean, we're in autumn at the moment. Sort of autumn. It's a weird autumn here in Sydney because you can still end up with days in the high 30s and stuff like that, and you think, come on, it's not autumn. Francois, hello there. Simulation rig like a pretend car. Ugh. Cold is coming for me, not yet. At the moment, it's raining. It is. I'm looking outside and I'm looking at rain, just like rain. It's not like little bit. It's like rain, and it is still like 23. Yeah, 23 degrees C outside, so you can still walk around in shorts and a t-shirt. So quite pleasant. Right. Right. Had a lovely day yesterday. Had a picnic in the morning, picnic breakfast, and then a bit of a bushwalk. And where we were, there was a sulphur-crested cockatoo and we were packing up. We'd finished all of our brekkie and everything, and we had a bag full of bread rolls, and it's a plastic bag full of bread rolls, and it was just sitting on the counter, and I was coming back to grab it, and as I came back to grab it, this sulphur-crested cockatoo came down, and he's like, I know what's in this bag. You might hide it by putting it in a translucent plastic bag, but I know there's bread rolls inside here. I know there's bready goodness in this. And proceeded to then tear the bag apart and get some bread out. So, because they're very smart birds. Now, I'm going to need my glasses for this because this has got little codes on it. Yeah, 29C, 95% humidity. I tell you what, it's been a humid summer this summer down here. It's just that moist has been the word of the day. I mean, yesterday it got up to like 27. I mean, it was very... it was kind of deceptive. It didn't feel like it was going to be a warm day, and then you sort of step outside and you go, this is warm. What the hell? What the hell, man? 0C in Sweden. Yikes. Isn't it supposed to be getting warmer there? Aren't you guys supposed to be? Isn't it spring? Alright, what do we got here? SN74LS80N. 74LS, sorry, LS08, not 80. 74LS08. That is U3. Come on, U3. Can someone explain to me why all sockets are smaller than the dip chips they're meant to actually hold? Alright, what do we got here? This one? 74LS. Ooh. That's U1. Nice. And then this is an LS30. That's U4. And then this one is U2. I mean, it's the only one left, but I'll just check. LS27 9. LS27 9. LS279. It goes into U2. Come on, U2. Ta-da! So the only thing about this is we do have this little blank spot here with C7. I don't know about that. I mean, I'll check and make sure. I'll have a look on his web pages about it to see if there's something meant to be something there, or if I'm meant to put something there, or if it's meant to be empty. I don't know, but there it is. There's my Grappler minus. It's all built and good to go. So I have to actually chuck this in and see if it makes smart portness in my disk controller thingadoodle. So bye Rudy. Thanks for joining. I'm waving at you. Bye. I am not a fan of U2, the band. I accept that just about every person on the planet likes them, but I have never really been a U2 person. I don't know. I like that song of theirs called Gloria. But that's about it. Oh, I like Hello, Hello, Vertigo. I like that song. But that's about it. Right, well, we're done. Yeah, woo. Okay, time to move on to the next one. SP2SD V2. See, I got the V2, not even the V1. Okay. Pre-programmed Arduino Nano. One Cajon resistor. Oh, this all looks like a piece of cake. Which glasses should I be wearing for this one? So we've got... Okay. Right. And we've got... Okay. This row is not in use. Interesting. So there's two... Okay. Improper installation will cause failure. OLED displays must be connected to J2. J3 is rarely used with 2.4 OLED only. Always make sure the pinout matches. Okay. That seems fairly self-explanatory. There's our little Arduino in there. God, I love these. I love Arduinos. I did a little bit of programming with them a while ago, and they're pretty easy. I mean, it's a different language to what I'm used to, but if you understand one or two programming language, learning another one's pretty easy. I love Pink Floyd. Freaking love Pink Floyd. More of a grunge person. Nirvana, Foo Fighters, Evanescence. If we're going to have grunge, we need to, of course, talk about Alice in Chains, and we also need to talk about Soundgarden. They're two of my favourites. Moody Blues back in the day. A little bit old for me, a little bit before my time. So Moody Blues were never particularly big here. I probably know one, maybe two Moody Blues songs. But yeah, definitely not, sort of, as I say, at the time the Moody Blues were around, I was at an age where I was listening to probably more pop type stuff, pop and rock and stuff. You mentioned about Reach a new season. I'm not impressed with it. I stopped watching. Aha! Thank you for letting me know that. I will probably give it a crack, but it's just such a shame. I enjoyed the first one so much. And then the second series was poo. And I sort of thought, let's hope they find what they lost from the first series, but that's really disappointing. Bruce loves Dick Marks. He's out here at the moment. I don't know. He's doing a concert with some other has-beens. I'm not a big Dick Marks fan. All right. Probably should have a look at a picture of one of these built. SD card. All right, so we'll put the little components on first. So we've got a blue LED. We've got a resistor and a diode. I think he does a good job putting these together. Bloody legend. So I will, when I'm doing any kit, really, I will usually put all the small components on first. I just find it's easier to work that way. Now, of course, diodes, they have to go around a certain way because you've got a cathode and an anode. There we go. The long one's the cathode, is that right? So I think the long one goes in the square hole. Does that sound right? Or is it the other way around? Is it the short one goes in the square hole? Well, we'll do the diode last, eh? I'll do a little bit of research. This diode, this one's an easy one. It's got a line. Oh, Horror Fang Rock playing in the background. Now, the Fang Rock, is that the one in the lighthouse? With the green blob going down the stairs? Severance, yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about Severance. Silo, yeah, I enjoyed Silo. Ah, the lighthouse, yes indeed. I remember that one well. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Who was 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 it Sarah Jane Smith in that one? Or was it the one that came after her? It was in the prime Tom Baker years, that one. It was in the time when they were making the in my opinion, some of the best Doctor Who's. Leela, in civilian clothes for a change. Yeah, that's right, because she used to have to wear not much in a lot of those episodes. Yeah, I that does ring a bell that it was Leela. Right, so we've got a diode on there now. And there was much rejoicing. Okay, and then we've got a resistor here as well. Yeah, I'm not quite ready for Severance yet, but I do hear good things about it, but I hear a lot of people saying it's very weird. I'm not sure if I'm quite in a mood for weird at the moment. E2K. Alright, I'm going to have to look this crap up. It's my brain. Oh wow, there's a spider on the screen. Hello, spider. Ugh. Uh-huh. The shorter leg is the cathode negative. Longer leg is the anode. So the shorter leg is the cathode. Now, I don't know. He's got K on here. He's got a label for K. I assume that is meant to be the cathode. So, shorter leg is the cathode negative. So it's the square pin. So that would, I would assume the square pin would be negative. Would be ground, negative. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it this way around. And worst comes to worst, it's around the wrong way. I have to do it. I have to change it. Square is short. Yeah, thank you. That's what I thought. But now I have some confirmation from two sources. I will probably 3D print a case for this. I know that there are cases already, but I like to design my own shit. Alright, now we need some boutons. Where are the boutons? Have I lost the buttons? Poussez les boutons. I feel like I might have... I cannot imagine the buttons weren't included. I mean, it's possible, or they might have fallen out. Actually, I've got a photo from when I just opened these up, so I might be able to tell from that. But I feel like I might be missing some stuff. Because buttons. That'll be a shame. I'll be able to get these buttons locally, but I would just hate to think that I lost them. Because I am a bit of a dodo. Getting things mixed up with the other one. I really do feel like I don't have any buttons in here. I'll have to double check. I will definitely double check the photo I took to see whether I have lost them, because they might be sitting up in the living room somewhere. But we'll have to do everything but the buttons for now. Yeah, I'm going to put the... I think I might put the... What am I supposed to do with this? Okay, so this is the connector. This is like the floppy connector. Yeah, there's a reset switch there as well. I definitely feel like I'm missing some switches. Anyhow. So that's the thing there for the cable. But then what you can do... This is like an adapter. To make it work with... Yeah, so you would need a plug for that there, but you can then turn this into a what do they call it? The DB19. You can't get DB19s anymore. I think that's my understanding. DB19 are, they're a no-go. So people have done these incredibly clever things like this, where they've created this PCB and they've got these holes here, and then they've got some pins, and you can basically just solder these pins into the PCB and then slot this 3D printed thing on top to make it match a DB19. And I've seen people doing clever stuff like this to try and fake DB19 connectors, and it's brilliant. It's really clever stuff. I love it. It's frustrating that they don't do DB19s anymore, but, such is life, my good friends. So I think I would be correct in saying, would that go that way, or does that go up that way? That's too short, I think. Don't know. It's got to be that way around. I know, do you have to heat these up to make them melt? Just don't feel like it's long enough the other way around. Oh, I'm not going to do that part today because that's just too confusing for my brain. Way too confusing. I mean, I've got a limited amount of space inside that thing. I only concentrate on so many things at a time. I will have to try and find out where my wife bought this from, because I'm not sure. Now, SD card slot. Arduino goes there. Screen goes there. Where does the SD card slot go? Does it go onto the Nano? Maybe? I'm going to need to have a look at a picture of this. Okay. SP to SD. That didn't work. Let's try that again. Geez, I'm warm. Steamy. It's not hot, but it's steamy. Okay, we've got a picture of the finished thing here. Yep, so there's definitely... I'm sure I've never seen those buttons. Sure of it. Okay. A picture. Okay, so 3D printed DB19 connector. I'm just looking at the parts list here. So then he's got an IDC 20 box pin header. That doesn't seem to have been included. So I'm not sure about that. I'll have to go and check his notes. Got that. 7 pin header to OLED. Didn't get that. Oh, it's probably connected to the OLED, so that's fine. Resistor, diode, the switches, don't have those. A right angle tactile switch, definitely didn't get that. Micro SD cardboard, where does that go? I need a picture of the thing assembled so I can find out where it goes. Is there a picture of the other side? I assume the SD card's on the other side or underneath. Oh, maybe it's underneath. I think it's underneath the... yeah. Okay, CS... Okay, so that's it there. So this is meant to go on like that. But the pins are bent, so I have to unbend them, I guess. Well, that was reasonably painless. Okay, so that's CS, so CS, SCK, okay, right. So that goes down first. That's the SD card slot in there. That's cool. So I just got tricked because these pins were bent, but I've just bent them into shape to suit me, because if the world is not fit, then you make adjustments. And so we can solder that on now, I believe. Cursor. There we go. Hello, Roger. Hello, Miley. Goes right there by the resistor diode, yep. Right, let's do some soldering. It's gone cold. Beep. So the pins line up. So it's CS there, it's going to CS there, ground is there, going to ground there. So we're all good, we're all good. But then what's going to happen is this screen is going to sit on top of it. That's I think what's going to happen. So I need a jumper. Oh, hello to Dylan. Sorry, my apologies. I didn't see that there, Paul. Hello, Dylan. Hello there. Welcome to my live stream. What is this card and what does it do? That's a good question. It is a thing that allows you to do smart port. Okay, so that sits on top like that. It's really nifty the way this overlaps and stuff and junk. So this allows you to effectively emulate a hard drive for an Apple IIe, for an Apple II based system. So 2E, 2C, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's sort of, you can emulate a hard drive, which I think is kind of cool. Right. So I'm just doing a little bit of solder on all of these components that are all in the same area, because if I stuff something up, I want to be able to undo it. So I'm not going to town and just soldering everything. I just want to get everything into position. And then I will sort of say, oh yeah, okay, we're good. Yeah, no, we're bad. Okay. And get this one here. Whoopsie dinky die. Right, okay. So now I've just done stuff there where you can't see it all because I wasn't holding it in front of the camera. And for that I apologise. But I think I'm pretty good. I think, ow! I think I can burn myself with the best of them. Right, that's all looking pretty good. So, SD card reader there. Out of the way. SD card reader underneath. Display on top. And then I've got my floppy connector here. Hopefully I've got a cable for that somewhere. Oh, okay, so... Yeah, okay. So this is what you connect to the back of the computer. This one here, not that. This you can connect to the back of the computer. And then you run a cable between the two. But I do have this horrible feeling that I'm missing some bits. Because I'm supposed to have, I think, an L-shaped one here, which doesn't appear to be in there. I'm not quite sure how to get the holes in. But that'll all be stuff I'll figure out in time. And there's probably instructions on how to do this, and I just need to read them. Let me have a look here. I'm going to go to this. We go here to get a product information development blog. Oh, no. Assembly instructions. Look at that. Assembly guide, PDF. Here we go. Probably helps if you look at that sort of stuff, you know. Alright, that's good. Assembly instructions. For efficient assembly, it's generally best to start with the lowest profile components and work your way up. I said that. The cathode of the diode should face the K side. Yes, there we go. Is indicated by the silkscreen. The line in the part with the line in the PCB silkscreen installing the diode in reverse can cause malfunctions. So pay close. That's done. So we've done those three. Yep. Oh, damn, his instruction stuff is really good. I should share it. Screen. Share screen. There we go. All right. So, done that. Done this. Or done this. Done this. It's very, very detailed. Okay, so that's done. That's all good. J-Dub, g'day from Kansas City. G'day right back. And g'day from Sydney. Alright, what have we got here? What's this one? Oh, that's the diode in there. Light emitting diode. We're all good. Okay, so... if the LED is too bright, you can bend it downward to reduce the glare. No, I like bright. Okay, attach the 3 vertical buttons. So that's where I'm struggling a bit because I don't have those. But I do believe I can get these from JCar. I'm pretty sure they sell these little buttons, so I shouldn't have any problem there. But it probably may hinder our chances of testing this today, unfortunately. And I will go up and have a look in the house to see whether something has fallen out. Because that's always possible. I will always blame myself before I blame someone else because I'm such a wally. There's a reset button. That's cool. That's another one I don't have. I don't think I have anyway. Now, okay, this is the part that I'm interested in. He says, solder the SD cardboard. Ensure all components are mounted on the top layer to avoid soldering on the wrong side. While the SD cardboard is mounted on the top layer, it is attached upside down. The SD cardboard includes a right angle 6-pin header that must be straightened before installation. So there you go. Align the pinout markings. So yeah, we've done that. That's all fine. Okay. It's great when you have instructions. Goodness me. Things become so much easier than just winging it like a fool. So, how old is Dylan, Paul? Installing 7-pin header for large LED. Cool. Great. Okay, so let me just have a look here. So he's used a... I don't think I need to use a header. I think the pins will be fine. That's all good. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. Yep. So that's all good. So he used a header to make it raise up a little bit, but I'm just using pins. The pins are long enough for it to actually sit up proud, so I'm fine with that. Recommend soldering just one spot first, correcting the angle and position, and then soldering the entire thing. Yeah, okay, cool. So you get it till you like it. And I think I almost like it. Too much. There we go. 10 years, okay. Right. Loving these instructions. Come on, keep loading. Alrighty. I don't know why this isn't loading now. Hurry. 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 There we go. Okay, installing the box header, that's fine. We're all good. We know where the notch is, so that's fine. Okay. And then the nano board goes on. Alright, great. So let's get the nano board. We'll get that all ready to go. Zip. Nuno board. Geez, these little development boards are just amazing. I love the way you can just get these little things that have got, you know, it's like a little system, a whole computer on a little tiny board like this. You can just set them up to do really inane stuff, or you can get them to do really interesting stuff. It's a snug fit, this one. Ah, there we go. Very snug, but it fits. I don't have to put in any test solder because it's just holding itself in. All right, now it's time to solder all these things that I just put in. So I'm just going to swap glasses for that. Okay, let's go here to my cousin's son is autistic, so I do have some experience with that, albeit sort of like minimal, because I don't have to live with him or anything like that. Nice. Right, so let's... I know with my cousin's son, he obsesses over certain things. So at any particular given time, you know, you catch up with him, you might be sitting and listening about trains, or you might be sitting and listening about old computers, or you might be sitting and listening about old mobile phones or cell phones. Whichever particular thing is the interesting thing for that time. I should probably take this ugly sticker off. This is not in use. My brain is not in use. One of the advantages of doing kits. I don't really need much brain to do kits. That's what's so fun about them. Just build stuff. It's great when you build stuff and you end up with something useful and practical at the end. That's always fantastic. I must... okay, so that's that, and then I just need to solder on the Arduino. One of the great things about Arduino is when you get set up with it, so if you go and buy yourself an Arduino and then you download the software, and that software is available on Mac and PC, so anyone can use it. Probably Linux too, but I didn't check. And it has a whole bunch of example sort of like code snippets. So if you're wanting to just get in and sort of do a bit of a head start or something, you say, oh, okay, I want some code that does this. You do a search and you'll find there's a sample thing there, and then you can then just go through that code, see all of the things that it does. You can kind of reverse engineer it. You can go, oh, okay, so that line does that and that does that. And then it just makes it really easy to get rolling, because you don't have to sit there learning a whole language. If you've got some experience with programming, you can just look at this code that's been written by others and kind of figure out what they're doing. The Arduino is STM32 or Mega chip based. I have no idea. What's this one? It's got a sticker on it. I can't see it. It's got a sticker on it, so I can't tell. Still can't tell. Your soldering is always beautiful. Well, thank you for that, Kenneth. I appreciate that. Right, so we've soldered all these things on. They're all stuck on there. I mean, I'm just looking at this. We could probably... Okay, so what have we got? We've got... We could probably try and figure out... where because the power comes in on the floppy port, so there's 5 volts from the floppy port, and I guess we could probably go and work out which one is the 5 volt on this, and we could do that by just using our multimeter like this, and just finding ground should be easy. So I could technically just do a bit of a fake power on of this, maybe. So I'll just go on to my beepity beep mode. Geez, my knee's getting a bit sore. Right, okay, so we know that that is 5 volt there, so we just have to find it along here. Or not. Okay, well, we're not getting it from there. So ground should be fairly easy to figure out, that at least. That's... Okay, so that big... Oh, that's ground, you can see it there. Big fat ground going on there. But I just sort of feel, okay, there's 5 volt there. 5 volt there. Whoopsie-dee. Maybe I need to... I was probably getting the power from the Arduino. So I have to work out where the power going into the Arduino is. So... where's 5 volt in on the Arduino? 3V 3 volt, that'd be output. So where's the power in to the Arduino? V in, there we go. There's V in. So we want to get that. No. Why is this messing with all my lovely theories? I don't know. Old man's knees. Yeah, it is old man's. The problem I have that this desk that I sit at here, I've got my fume extractor underneath it, so I can't stretch my left leg. So my left leg is always permanently in the sort of like L-shaped position. I can't stretch it out. And after a while, it just starts to get a bit sore. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the diode is blocking something. So, oh, there it is. Okay, so the diode goes to... Is it something to do with the switch, maybe? Okay. There, the diode is going to this pin here. And then... Okay, that's then coming into here. What's that? Oh, 5 volt. Look, I was in the wrong one. I was going to V in, but there's 5 volt there. Is that 5 volt out? I assume it's 5 in. Yeah, I'm assuming that yeah. So what I'm thinking is, if I was to technically connect 5 volts to there, would it just work? I don't know. Good night, Macintosh. But yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, actually, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the instructions. I just want to see what the method it is I should be using for building the little plug, because I believe everything else is sorted. Just go back to sharing the screen here. Boop, ba-doop, boop. Boop, 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 ba-doop, boop. One of the things that I'll be doing when I finish this live stream is I am going to be recording myself dismantling a device, because it's really funny when I do reviews of things. People want to see me pull stuff apart. It's like one of the most popular parts of doing a review of something is when I open it up. People are like, "Yeah, I want to see inside." Oh, shuzbutt. My mouse is doing this thing that it does every now and again where it kind of just jumps around. I don't know what the cause of it is. I mean, it's a Bluetooth mouse, so it's probably some sort of Bluetoothian magic. Okay, that's all done. We're all done there. Done like a dinner. So, just missing a few buttons. And he really does go to incredible detail in these instructions, way more detail than I need. But it's great that it's there for people that are, you know, if they're taking this sort of stuff on and they're not experts on the matter and need a little bit of assistance. Okay, here we go. Plant the 11 pins into the 3D printed connector. If you 3D printed it yourself, compensate the holes with 2mm and 1mm drill bits. If you bought the kit, it is corrected by us. Okay, so is he putting when inserting the pins in 3D printed connector shell, always insert the pins from the flat side. The holes for 2 minutes and the flat side of the soldering. The hole size on the other side is 1mm and narrower on the connector side for inserting it. Okay, so let me just look at a picture of this, because they felt like they didn't stick out far enough when I did them the way that I believe he is describing here. So Oh, come on, mouse. Don't vex me so. Okay, so yeah, they're going in that way. Pin direction, insert from the PCB surface. And he's sort of drilling a little hole there, 2 mil, 1 mil. All right, okay. So what he's ultimately saying is that on one side of here, it's a bigger hole underneath. So you should be able to push them in further than I was pushing them in. I just needed to shove a bit harder. That makes sense. What's he using? He's using TWEEZERS. Just going to change over to scope view here. We'll see what we can see. So I might need a little drill bit to expand this hole somewhat, or is that as far in as it's supposed to go? That might be as far in as it's supposed to go. It just sort of doesn't seem like it sticks out very far, you know? I mean, it might be enough, I guess, but I just would have thought that that pin would come up further. Oh, that ain't good. There's just not much strength on this side. Yeah, there's not much. It's kind of hard to push down from this side because it's this is all very fragile. Hey, got it. I got it. I got it. You just got to push hard. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if I can twist that around now. Excuse me. For my own sanity, I kind of would like these all in the same orientation. There we go. You can hear the sounds of very annoyed chickens at the moment. They're a bit pissed off because it's raining. They're not fans of rain. Look at that. How cool is it? This is so clever. I love the fact that someone here has effectively invented their own DB19 because you can't buy them anymore. Bought the pins, 3D printed the outside, and Bob's your uncle. You've made yourself your own DB19. It's bloody nifty. This is actually kind of fun, this part. It's very satisfying when they go in. They go, stump. Like that. It's most satisfying. It's very good, yes. I watched that latest Axel Foley movie. It's just called Axel F, you know, and everyone's quite a lot older than they used to be. And there were a couple of things in that I found, I mean, well, first of all, I will say, it was a good entertaining romp. It wasn't really trying to be anything that it wasn't. It was entertaining. I had no issue with it at all. That was number one. It was interesting watching Eddie Murphy, who still looks incredibly good for his age. You know, I mean, his skin is still in amazing condition, which is very, very impressive. But you could tell when he was doing some of the action stuff that he is just nowhere near as agile as he used to be, which is, again, fair enough. He's not a young man. But the thing that really got me was the Taggart's hair colour. I don't know if anyone has seen that XLF movie. It's like, dude, are we supposed to believe that you still have dark hair? I mean, the guy's like 100 or something. Come on. Turn around the way I want you to turn. Oh, you saw the short of my haunted blue bowl. Yes. It's so funny. That's happened more than once. And basically what happens, I go down and I feed the chickens out of that bowl. Now, typically when you're feeding chickens, you would just scatter it on the ground. But because we have a blind chicken, the blind chicken's not very good at finding the food on the ground. So we put it in a big blue bowl so the chicken can kind of aim its head and know where the food is. And anyhow, what then happens is when the chickens have kind of finished, the pigeons just tear into it and they just go in hardcore. And there are heaps of them. There might be 15 of them all trying to eat from the same bowl, and they're all piling on top of each other. And they end up flipping it over sometimes. And invariably when they flip it over, they often end up with a pigeon stuck under it. And sometimes it's just been sitting there and I haven't even known. I've just lifted it up and I've just been like, wah! Because a pigeon's just flown out. But in this instance, I think the pigeon hadn't been there long and it still had lots of energy in it, so it was running around going, well, who turned out the lights? I'm having Indian food for dinner tonight. Really looking forward to it. I've got got a goat curry and what's the other one? I think it's a lamb dish, I think. Lamb or beef, I can't remember. But I'm really looking forward to it. So essentially it's leftovers. So we bought this, but it was enough food for like 4 people. So we just ate half of it and froze the rest. And so tonight we're going to be getting that out and having that for din-dins. And I absolutely adore Indian food, so really looking forward to that. That's my multimeter swearing at me, just in case anyone was wondering what that tick 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 is. It's saying, you're not using me, so I'm going to go to sleep. How do you say about that? There you go. Right. So now, your house, okay, so this now we go that way around, I believe, understanding this, yes? Hide this text with the connector. Oh, God, he's so good. He is so good. God, look at that. That is I'm just so impressed. I can hear a sulphur-crested cockatoo outside. They do not have an attractive bird song. No, they do not. How the hell is Doc Brown from Back to the Future still alive? God, I tell you, there are a few people that are amazing they're still alive. William Shatner is like 92 or something now. He's got some vintage on him. Mel Brooks is still alive. Have you seen how old Mel Brooks is? Crikey. I should read the instructions, shouldn't I? I'll just make sure I'm doing the right thing. Yeah. Cool. What's an instructions indeed. Hello, Steve. Where have you been? Where have you been hiding? Saw you at the beginning and then you disappeared. You're probably doing silly things like eating dinner or things like that. I'm really glad I did check the instructions because this did need instructions, and Kay has done such a brilliant job of writing them up. Or getting someone else to write them up. I mean, I don't know it was him. He could have got someone else to write them up, but it's very good. It's very good. Have I done this wrong? No. The only reason I said have I done this wrong is because I've got no pins here, and yet I've got like connectors going from there to nothing. So I don't know why that is. And there's one here as well. I don't know. Yeah. I guess he knows what he's doing. I'm gonna just check and make sure, look at the pictures there, I've got it around the right way. I mean, I matched this illustration. Oh, bloody hope I matched the illustration. Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing a good job. Yes, thank you. I deserve some applause. Not really. So I've ended up in a bit of a predicament here. Namely, I don't think I have all the parts I need for this. He did say beep boop at the start of the stream. I saw that. Hello, ghostly lurker. Hello. Right, so let's just have a look here at the top view. So once again, I just want to talk about just how awesome this is. That we've basically got a DB19 connector here that's not available anymore. We just made one. That's just so cool. So there is meant to be a L-shaped or sort of 90-degree angle connector connecting to this one here. And so the idea is with this, that you plug this onto the back of, say, your 2C. Oh, I've got one here. Or in bits. I might even be able to grab it. Grab the board. There is a chicken feather on this board. How on earth did that get there? All right. So here is a 2C that's seen better days. Okay, so this one's in very bad condition. That's all fine. And then you've got, that's your floppy connector there, your DB19. So you get this, and you plug it there, like that, and then you'll have a thing that comes out the back there, and you run your cable from that through to your SP2SD, like Zimbo. There you go. Everything's perfect. There you go. And that is just really, really clever. I'm not going to, I just got to tell you, I love it. Revlon tweezers. Oh yeah, look, seriously, these are brilliant. So you can buy these, like you can generally get these in like your pharmacists. You can sometimes, I think you might even be able to get them in your supermarkets in the beauty section, but I'm not sure. But the thing about these, there are two things. First of all, they're quite rigid, they're quite strong. So if you're trying to grab stuff like, if I'm trying to, I don't know, peel a label off something, you grab this and then you can kind of peel with it. Because they are quite strong and quite rigid. But what's fantastic about these are designed for plucking eyebrows, and so they meet in the middle perfectly flush. Really, really, really flush. I recommend everyone has at least a couple of pairs of these in your workshop and around the house and stuff, because they are just so handy. Okay, you've got my little tiny, these ones for lifting small components and stuff, but I use these for straightening pins on ICs. I use them for, as I say, peeling things off that I can't get my fingers onto, that sort of stuff. They are really, really good. Don't think that IDC20 is RA version based on the silk screen and look at the one I have here. Okay. So anyhow, grab these. They're not expensive. I don't recall them as being expensive. You know, I've got a pair here. I've got a pair in the living room, and I've got a pair in my office. And there's a pair in the bathroom as well for actually plucking eyebrows, because I need to do that because I'm getting old. So I grow every now and again these great big long curly humongous eyebrows come out, and I'm just like, no, I'm not ready. So I just pluck them off. I'm not ready. I'm not old enough for that sort of eyebrow. I mean, I am technically old enough for that sort of eyebrow, but I don't want them. Right, so essentially we're done here. We've got a couple of things that I need to resolve here, and I should be able to get these. I think I should be. I'll have no problems getting these switches, a J-car. Not sure about this one, this upright one, but I'll have to have a look and have a closer look to see what the original looks like. See if I can get it. So I can't put these switches on. I can't put that switch on because I don't have them. Now, as I said, I haven't checked in the house. They could well be on the table where I had this package and I opened it up. Plus, I took some photos of these when I first opened them, and there might be, I'll check on those. So I don't want to just immediately come out and say I think Kay forgot to send them, because I absolutely cannot conclusively say that at this stage. And I would be very surprised, because I mean the professional way in which this has all been put together, I would be absolutely gobsmacked if he didn't include something. But it does stop me from being able to test this out, because I unless I can build this to completion, I can't really test it, because this is what I need to plug it into the computer to then run a cable from there to here to here to there. So that's kind of where I am with that. As I say, there's not much more I can do at this stage. But we have put these things together, and I apologise that I'm not able to test them, but that will be obviously for another video at some stage in the future when I get them all done. So we've got here the Grappler Minus kit. So this is one that you're able to put into a 2E. You just pop it into a slot there, and it will enable smart port capability for the floppy drive connector that comes out of the back of the card. So that's what you need for a 2E. But then technically, again, I'm hearing this for depending on the ROM version, and because I don't know what ROM version I have, so we'll have to wait and see. But on a 2C, if you've got the right ROM version, you can just plug this in, run a cable from there to there, and then you end up with this smart port capability. So you can effectively end up with this emulating an Apple II hard drive. And so Bob Hawke eyebrow. You know who I always think of, though, when it comes to PMs with wild eyebrows? Johnny Howard. Little Johnny Howard had the most incredible, like spider's legs eyebrows you've ever seen. That's what I always refer to them. When they come out, I go, oh no, I've got another bloody Johnny Howard eyebrow. So yeah, that's where we are with these. We're so close, but we're just not quite there. But I am really looking forward to it. I love the idea of being able to set up a hard drive, because I used to have a hard drive on my old Apple IIe in the olden days. And I remember I set it up with a little menu, so that when you fired it up, it would boot straight into a menu. So it would load up into most probably ProDOS, because I think that was the main one that I used. But it would boot straight up into ProDOS, and then it would bring up a little menu, and it would have our most commonly used applications on it. So one of the most commonly used applications we used back then was Apple Works, because my parents being teachers, they used to do lesson preparation and exams and stuff. They would set all of that stuff, and then we had an Image Writer 1 printer. We ended up getting an Image Writer 2 later on with a Mac Classic, but at that stage we had an Image Writer 1 printer. So they used to do exams and stuff on there, and then they would print them out on the Image Writer, and then they'd take them into work and copy them and give them to the kids as whatever they were. And so I'd have Apple Works there, but then I would also have little menu items for like commonly played games that I played and stuff like that. Keeping in mind that I had a green screen, so my gameplay was always limited to monochrome. So when it came to which games I was playing, it had a lot to do with ones that were good fun in monochrome. Making plans for VCFE. I assume that's East. Anyone else going to be there? I'm going to say Steve's probably going to be there. That would be... because I know that he's definitely... yeah, he'll be there. And I think, from memory, I think Sean from Action Retro, I think, is going to be there. You know, because I've been sort of privy to some of those chats. Of course, I won't be there because it's a whole nother country. It's a little bit too far away from me. Maybe one day I'll get to one of these, but of course, it's one of those things that always happens if you say. Like, again, if I was going to be doing a trip to America, it would be a trip that I would be doing with my wife, and we would be doing it as a holiday. And that could be a very difficult sell to say, hey, we're heading to this country for the very first time. Oh, by the way, let's go to a vintage computer festival. It'd be like, beg pardon? So I would, you know, and of course I've got family in the US as well. They're on the whole other side. They're on the West Coast, so... I would want to go and visit some family while I was there. And of course, then I've also got all of my Maciac buddies. I would want to go and say hello to all of them. And they're mainly all on the other side. They're on the western side, so that would be interesting. And then, of course, I would really, really like to... I'm a big food person, so I would be wanting to sample food. That would be it. You'd stay in my shed. Your shed would probably be quite fun, mind you. I don't think I'd want to be there in the winter time. What's going on with that shed, Steve? I mean, last time I saw a photo of it, there was so much empty space inside it. I sort of feel like, what's going on there? How come there's all that empty space? Have you filled it up with other stuff? Would like to meet everyone. Hurry over. Yes, I would love to go over there. Steve, Ron, Sean, Mike. My Lords of the Retro scene. I haven't seen anything from Mike in ages. If we're talking about Mike's Mess, I haven't seen any live streams from him in donkey's years. Steve has pretty regular contact with him, I think. It has less empty space. Cool. I mean, what we want to see everything get jammed into that shed, so that then you have a perfect, pristine workshop and studio space down in the basement. That's what we need. That's what we need to have. That's where we need to get to. We need to have it so that when you come in and you do a live stream of a repair, you know, you've just got all of this empty space around you and a few very carefully placed vintage computers behind you, you know, that we can all look at and go, ooh, look, there's a Lisa and there's a 20th century Macintosh, 20th anniversary Macintosh. I don't even know if you have a TAM. Do you have a TAM, Steve? I don't think Steve has a TAM. Look, working at getting electrical in there and such. That's do it yourself, mate. Yeah, just get to run a cable out there, you know, dig a bit of hole in the ground, run some wires, shove them in and plug them there and up there. I can teach you how to do that. I don't have a TAM, but I have two SAD PowerBook 3400s. So you're just going to 3D print a case so that you can make up your own TAM. Because as many people may or may not know, a TAM was basically just a PowerBook 3400 in a fancy case, sold for an obscene amount of money. Justin Morgan, yes, I've watched a few of his live streams. I pop on every now and again. I don't always say hello in the chat. Sometimes I just have it running while I'm working, and I usually say hello in the chat, but sometimes I visit and take off again without saying hello, which is very rude of me. Well, I think I'm probably going to call it a day at this stage. So my apologies to anyone who is expecting something of way more interest and excitement. This is it, I'm afraid. I am in the process of trying to kind of drum up a few good live stream style projects. As I mentioned earlier on, most of what I have here at the moment is slow, tedious diagnostic work, and so that's not the best for doing a live stream. So I want to finish off the 2FX, so there'll be that. I've got an SE30 that's giving me weird display problems, so I've got to do some diagnostics on the analog board for that one. It's definitely an analog board issue, not a. I think I've tried a different yoke board thingy as well. I think I've tried a different neck board, whatever that. I've tried a different one of those, and I think the problem was the same. But yeah, I'm drawing up. I will be doing a live stream in the not too distant future where I'm going to be trying to restore some floppy drives. So I've got someone sending me, I think they're on the way here now. They'll probably arrive during the week. I've got someone sending me a bunch of 3.5-inch floppy drive, external 3.5-inch floppy drives, so in the little case. And some of them have actually got discs stuck in them because the eject mechanism has failed. So there'll be a full dismantle and restore on those, replacing the eject cog. You guys know the deal. I've done videos on these before, but I'll be looking to get a few of those restored and then try and get them back to their owner. It's someone who is still using an Apple IIgs in their sort of day-to-day. There's some software on it that they simply had not been able to find a replacement for with on more modern computers, and so they've just kept using it. But of course, as it happens with a lot of these things, they end up failing as they get old, and so that's why I'm getting sent these floppy drives. Okay, all right, I've just got to move my mouse here, I guess. There we go. Kenneth, I can't make that out, I'm afraid. I will need a translator. Need a wine stream, yeah, sure do. The wine streams only happen at certain times. There are times when the missus heads out, to do something, and then I've got the house to myself at night time, and I start having some drinks and come down here and work in live stream. Okay, all right, yes. Oh, this, of course. Don't forget to please smash do the
smash that like button.
Do that thing, please. That would be appreciated. I always like it if people go around smashing. Just say hello to the chooks very quickly. They're none to be seen, so there we go. And back here. So, as usual, thank you to everyone for joining me. I do appreciate it. Thank you for keeping the chat lively. It's been a lot of fun. A huge thank you, of course, to Kay for sending these to me. I hope to have these working very, very soon, and then I'll be able to do a little bit of a demo of them. I'll either do a pre-recorded demo or a live stream, but I would love to actually demo these and see how they go and all that sort of stuff. T-shirt, yeah, okay. Send me an email, Nick. I'll get the details from the missus as to where she got it from. Yes, I think that is all. So thank you all once again. My apologies for my pre-recorded video production schedule. It is just so slow at the moment. I've just been crazy busy with work, lots of reasons. But I am in production with other videos. I'm hoping to have a review coming out fairly soon, and then I'm going to be doing a video introducing people to resin 3D printing. So the idea will be, if you are someone who's into a bit of 3D printing with your FDM stuff, like these kind of 3D printing, you print with a filament, and you're thinking, I want some more detail. I think I'd like to try and go resin. It is a video specifically for you. It's to say to you, okay, you are someone who knows how to 3D print using a 3D printer that uses FDM or the filament style, and this is introducing you to the world of resin printing and ultimately telling you whether it's something worth bothering with. So that's really what the video is about. I'm well underway with that one, so I hope to have that one in the not too distant future. Goodbye to you, Dylan. I hope you have a good rest of day. So thank you for joining in the live stream, Dylan. I really appreciate you watching. And I think that's pretty much it. So once again, thank you all for watching. Thanks for the likes. If anyone is watching this on the replay, hello to you. Thank you for watching. Always feel free to jump in and say something in the comments. Tell me how silly I am or something like that. And I do hope to see you all at the next live stream. So thanks for joining, and bye-bye.